So today we are going to be making a batch of homemade bean soup. This is one of our family's favorite meals, especially, you get the snow outside, it's cold. They love homemade bean soup. So what I thought I'd do is I'd take you guys along and I would show you how I use dry beans, some pantry items, and then I take and I use fresh vegetables, Ham Hocks, and the secret ingredient. Wasn't sure if I was going to give this out or not, but I thought, you know what? If this little secret ingredient helps somebody else make a family dish that is a favorite, I'm willing to give that out. So come on along, guys, and watch and see what I do and how I use the items to make a family favorite bean soup. So what I do is I take northern beans. These I get locally. They're locally grown in Michigan. I buy them in a 50-pound bag. And then what I do is I break them into smaller units like this so that I'm not having to lug around this 50-pound bag. I think this holds about 1.5 pounds, almost 2 pounds in here. So I fill these up. I throw oxygen absorbers in there. I use my food saver lid, the canner lid. It's not called canner lid. It's the thing that vacuums out the air, just as another layer of protection to give me longer storage time on this, because really 50 pounds, it's a lot to go through. I'm fortunate that we were able to grab some organic beans. So when you can grab the organic beans and put them up for long term, or to save yourself some money, you're always going to be ahead of the game. All right, so what we do is I'll take these out. I sort them, make sure there's no rocks, whatever. I rinse them off. And then what I do is I put them in a big stock pot. This one I'm going to be doing, I use 2 pounds of the dry beans. I've already rinsed them off last night, and then we've soaked them. Let me show you. This big old pot, this is 2 pounds. What I do now is I'll go through and I'll pick out any of the little pieces that are floating, these little pieces. Really, you don't have to take them out. It just, I don't know, something I do. And these little pieces, I'll take these, I'll just throw them in my chicken bucket. The chickens don't care. And see, I see a bean in here that looks a little funny that I must have missed. I'll just pull that out, kind of give it a once over to see if I've missed anything. And I haven't. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take some Ham Hocks and I'm going to throw those in the pot. And I'm going to let this cook for probably a good, 3 to 4 hours. I'm going to kind of check the beans to see, how they feel, how they look. And then once I get where I like them, I'll take and I will add my carrots, my potatoes, my onions, whatever else that I need to put in there. More of these. And smoked Ham Hocks, you guys. The meat inside of these are amazing. Gives us the bean soup an amazing smoky flavor. If you happen to be vegetarian and you don't want to use the Ham Hocks, you could use a liquid smoke, or you don't have to use anything at all. But we happen to love the smoky flavor and we love Ham Hocks. So that's what we're going to use. Okay, so I have these in the pot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this over to the stove and I'm going to get this cooking. Actually, I'm going to let it boil for a little bit, simmer it, and then we'll come back and check on it. Guys, look at this pot. This pot I've had for probably 20 years. Look at the hole in it. I'm not even sure how I did that, but this is one of my favorite stock pots. Check out this thing. Tons of recipes, tons of soups have been made in this thing. Okay, so in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my potatoes, my carrots, my garlic. Cut up so that once it's ready, all I have to do is dump that in there, let it go for about 45 minutes, and we should be good. what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cut up carrots, potatoes. Okay, now we're going to cut up these potatoes. You can see I got a little bit of green on here. I'm going to go way past the green. Now, because we do like skins on our potatoes, I am not going to peel the other one. It's just on this one, I noticed that there was some green, so I wanted to make sure that we weren't getting any of that in our potatoes. Look at this knife. This is a Husk Japanese knife, and what I love about it is you can just kind of scoop, take things and throw them where you need to throw them. When I'm using this knife, I always try to make sure that when I set it down, this knife, so when I'm using this puppy's sharp, I want to make sure that I turn the knife this way, and I kind of set it out of the way so that if I'm messing with food, I don't, if I move things away, I make sure that I don't bang into that blade. I have people ask, why do I wear a glove in the video? Kind of more out of habit. I've worked in commercial kitchens over 30 years, and we wear gloves. So I kind of feel naked without it on. The other thing is if I have my grandson here and I'm working with meat or something happens and I need to, real quick stop what I'm doing, all I have to do is pull the glove off and I can tend to what he needs. Or if I have a customer that calls and I need to grab my phone, I just pull the glove off, my hands are clean, I can grab my phone, take care of business. So that's why I wear them. I'm used to wearing them, so that's just what I do. All right, so let's see. These are from our garden, and they're a little bit small, but I don't care that they're small because it's something that we've grown. So we'll see. And the thing is if they're too small, I can just throw them in there like this and then pick them out later. Oh, they're coming out clean, so that's good. We love garlic. I love growing the hardneck variety. They will throw a scape off the top, comes shooting up, and it looks like I don't know, kind of around like a little curly thing that comes off the top. And it has a flavor of a mild garlic flavor that is phenomenal. And I will take and harvest all of those before it goes to flour. And we'll use it like I would asparagus. I'll saute it. I've dried it. I've freeze-dried it and then powdered it so that, if I wanted to add some into a soup, all I have to do is open up the jar and put some in. I've got some garlic down in my pantry that I need to get used up. We're going to be doing some fermented garlic, and it's amazing for this time of year. I swear it chases colds away. I don't know if it does for sure, but it sure seems to. And as long as both David and I have garlic, but if we're going to a wedding or we're doing, going out to be with people or our friends, we probably wouldn't eat the garlic. So I have all these scraps. Let me show you what I'm going to do with them today. So in my freezer, I keep a bag, a grocery, just a Ziploc bag full of scraps. Looks like we've got a bunch of chicken bones, some ham bones, some green stuff in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take those scraps and I'm going to throw them right into my Ziploc bag. Skins and all. When you're making the broth, you can get amazing color and flavor from these onion skins. David used to work for an Italian family, and the old lady would try to teach me how to make some of their dishes. And one of them was the vegetable broth, or the broth in general, and she threw everything. She would take even her garlic. When her garlic would start looking, a little bit funnier, she'd say, it doesn't feel right. The whole thing would go right in there. And the flavor and the color is amazing. It's a beautiful golden color. So that's what we do. The same Italian lady was also the one that had showed me how to make amazing cannoli shells. Boy, those things are labor intensive, but let me tell you what, there's a difference than just going and buying those shells. So there was a little bit of a language barrier with her. I think her name was Asunta. And gosh, it's been probably 30 years, probably more than 30 years since I got to spend some time with her. But what a treat. And it's something that I will remember forever. And then also I will pass it on. Again, my daughter did this. So again, pass it on to my daughter. She will pass it on to her kids. So it's kind of cool how when you teach somebody something, how they can take that and pass it on from generation to generation. I didn't get the ends of these carrots off. And those are definitely, even looking like that, that's fine. It's fine to go into the chicken bucket or to the soup bag. I am going to take off just those parts. They could go into your soup. It's just I don't want it in there. How that scooped up that real nice. All right, so we've got all of our scraps put into the bag. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take and return this to the freezer. These carrots. Now, these are good sized carrots. So these I probably wouldn't cut in half. I think they're good bite size. But what I like to do is I like to cut them on the bias, a little bit of an angle, so that when you're looking at your soup, you can just see a pretty little cut. I'll give them a little bit more of an angle. See how they look? Just a little bit different. All right, let's get these potatoes cut up. When you're doing these potatoes, you do them the way that you like them. Some people like, huge old slices of them or chunks of them. It's whatever your family likes. We happen to like them kind of somewhere in the center. Not too big, not too small. But one thing that I found is when you have this in the pot, and then we're going to actually freeze some of this, or freeze dry some of this, that, the process of it, kind of sitting there and then freeze drying and then warming back up. If we make these pieces too tiny, you end up really not getting any chunks of the potato in there, and we like to have a little bit. So I try not to go too teeny tiny on them. When you're making soups, this kind of stuff, Just do whatever you like. It's kind of nice with having this freeze dryer. I can make a big old pot of this, portion it out into, like 1 pound bowls, throw it in the freeze dryer. It'll last, they say, 25 years. We've only had our machine for about 5 years, so we haven't really tested it out that long. Typically, when we use our freeze dryer, I'm doing it for a very short time, a few months out. We also use it for, camping and hiking meals, which is really nice because we really enjoy doing the boondock camping, the off-grid camping when we take our trailer out. If you haven't seen our cargo converted trailer, David had taken a 7x14 cargo trailer, completely gutted, spray foamed the inside, decked it out on the inside, solar panels up top. He's got it's almost like a go-go gadget. There's a layer in between the solar panels that he can pull out that has, I think there's 8 more panels on there. So we have a microwave, we've got a refrigerator, we've got a mini split that has an air conditioner and the heating unit on it. So as long as the sun is out, we can pretty much go anywhere and have the everyday creature comforts. I do like to get this cut up a little bit finer than what it is, only because not everybody enjoys having a big old hunk of garlic in their mouth. I mean, we do. We love garlic. Beans are boiling pretty good, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a bay leaf in. These are fresh bay leaves. This is actually the end of my plant, so I'm going to take I have one more piece of this. I'm going to take this off, take a piece similar to this, and I'm going to stick it in water with some rooting hormone, and I'm going to try to grow another section of this. I had a big plant of it, and I've killed it. So this is fresh bay leaf. All right. So everything's cut up. All we need to do now is wait for, everything's cut up. Now all we need to do is wait for the beans to be fork tender. Let's go take a look at that bean soup. All right, so the soup's been boiling for a little while. And what I'm going to do is come in here and I remove a little bit of they call it scum. And I'm going to put it in this bowl right here. And this, guys, I'm going to put this in my chicken bucket. Every little bit of scraps and stuff that, we may not eat, the chickens are going to be able to get some nutrients out of that. So, but if you don't have chickens, you just throw it away, throw it down your garbage disposal. However you take care of your stuff, that's what you do with it. You just periodically take that off and just put it in there. And then what I'm going to do is kind of, oh, look at that, you guys. Does that not look good? I'm still going to let this cook on low for probably another good hour before I decide I'm going to add in the cut up vegetables, which this might be ready. I'm going to go another half an hour and then I'll add the vegetables. And then I'll wait until the very end to pull the ham hocks out, pull the skin off, and separate the meat. Alright, so we have dumped in the vegetables. We're going to let this simmer for about an hour, and then we'll come back and pull the meat off the bone. So I pulled the ham hocks out so that they could cool off. So the soup's done, and we are going to be adding in this secret ingredient. Secret ingredient is a roasted red pepper sauce. This is a dish that I learned how to make, oh gosh, probably 35 years ago. Gosh, it makes me sound old. Anyways, when I was working for a Serbian bakery, the old grandma lady used to make this, and it's absolutely amazing. She taught me how to make it, and I've made it for X amount of years. You roast the peppers, garlic, onions, olive oil, eggplant, puree it all up, and then you process it. And I found that if you add just a couple tablespoons of this to your homemade bean soup, it gives it that kick of, oh my gosh, what is that? That's really cool. I can't quite identify what that is, but I love it. So guys, this is the secret ingredient. If you're gonna look this recipe up online, it's called Iva. I'm not sure how you spell it, but if you just type in Serbian red pepper sauce, it'll come up with a recipe, and it's the red peppers, onions, garlic, and eggplant. All right, let's get this in the pot. Here's the red pepper sauce. I'm going to add 2 scoops, mix it up, and then I'm going to taste it. I can tell already by the color it's not there yet. I'm going to go 1 more tablespoon. Oop, that's it. So good.